So before this video got started, I wanted to address something. Yesterday, there was a shooting in Annapolis, Maryland on the Capital Gazette, which is a pretty prominent newspaper across my state. And I just want to give my condolences to the 5 families. And I'm also going to make a video about it a little bit later. I'm not going to push for any type of agenda or anything. It's just I want to lay out everything that I know about the situation and why it would affect me personally. I knew personally one of the victims that were killed in the event, so it was something that was pretty prominent to me. I had no idea that it would ever come to my state. I never really assessed the situation, so I'm actually going to cover it a little bit more in a later video, probably today or tomorrow, where I talk about my relation with the person that had died in the shooting and, you know, just the importance of the event when it comes to the American landscape. So on a more positive note, we're going to be talking about the retirement and the effect of the retirement of Justice Kennedy on the 2018 midterm elections. So pretty much the 2018 midterms election are all going to be focused on the president and now probably the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to be something that's going to be extremely prominent for both Republicans and Democrats in the future. If Republicans become the majority in the SCOTUS like they are right now and retain their majority, that's going to be something that inspires Democrats. And also the 2018 midterm Senate elections are going to be something that's going to be covered a lot by Democrats. Having someone who would deny the nominee by Donald Trump, which probably won't happen by January 2019, even if Democrats do take back the Senate, it's going to be something that's going to be a top-notch issue. Keep in mind, a biased Supreme Court is not the best. I mean, I saw a lot of you comments saying sooner or later we'll get a 6-3 majority in the SCOTUS, and that's not good. I mean, having a lopsided ruling body in the court is not good. This should be fair and balanced. It should be something that's pretty equal for both political sides. And now all of a sudden people are supporting the possibility of having a 6-3 majority in the SCOTUS, and that's not good. I mean, you can't have a fair and unpartisan body when you have 6 conservatives and 3 liberals. There should be possibility in the future 3 liberals, 3 conservatives, and 3 unpartisan members, but obviously that's never going to happen. There's always going to be leniencies for either political side, but again, that's not good. I mean, this is going to definitely help Democrats with his retirement, mainly because Republicans won't be as excited. This won't be something that's going to be top-notch to them because they already have the majority, and Democrats are going to look at this saying, we're going to be screwed for the next 30 years. That's what they're going to say. They're going to think because if he did retire during a Democratic incumbent presidency, then maybe they had a possibility of replacing it with a Democratic justice. Now they don't have that possibility. And Republicans would probably make the smart decision and nominate someone who's around 50 or at the latest 60. So they're in there for the next 20 to 30 years, which won't be replaced until 20 to 30 years in that future election. So again, that's something that's going to be extremely prominent. And if Ginsburg either, you know, passes away or retires, that's going to be something that's extremely helpful to Republicans, but it's also going to excite the Democrats. So not much is going to change on this map except for a couple swing states. And the way that I'm going to focus on this, I'm mainly going to do shifts in the favor of each political party. It'll probably just be, as usual, how I fill in the map, typically with each side for, you know, just showing what's leaning to each political party, just how I usually do it. I'm not going to do it any bit different because people get confused. So likely states, Texas, and leading states for the Democrats, Ohio. Actually, likely states would be Virginia. Safe states, actually, Utah for the Republicans. And the leading states, probably West Virginia. New Mexico is likely. So now we have our map. We have 48 Republicans, 43 Democrats. The retirement is definitely going to help the Democratic Party. They're going to have a number of excited voters, people that are going to care about who replaces Justice Kennedy. Justice Kennedy was that swing Republican vote. He helped with gay rights. He helped with Roe v. Wade. And now all of a sudden he's retiring. And this gives Republicans an opportunity to get a more conservative justice in. President Trump recently met with a number of senators, some of which were Democrats, which is definitely beneficial to his part. But they were conservative Democrats, people like Joe Manchin. And it's not necessarily the best to have a lopsided court. I mean, that's not good. And that's also going to be something that's going to be a top issue for the Democrats when they come out and vote. They're going to say, you need to come out and vote Democratic in the Senate elections, or you're going to lose the Supreme Court nomination, or you're going to lose the spot for the Democrats in the Supreme Court. So that's going to be extremely prominent and something that's going to be talked about a lot amongst Democrats. So when we get to a number of these swing states, they may be leaning in the favor of the Democrats now more than ever. And we're going to go into the governor elections right after this because actually I might just make the governor elections a separate video because the Supreme Court handles a number of statewide issues, and that may need its own video. Yeah, I'll just go through the Senate map now, and then we're going to go into the governor election in a future video, and then later today, as I said, I'll cover the whole shooting from yesterday in another video. So, 44 Democrats, 48 Republicans. Nevada and Arizona right now are probably leaning to the Democrats. The Democrats are either winning in here in 2016 and are getting close in the polls, or actually leading in the polls. I mean, Kyrsten Sinema is doing extremely well in opinion polling in the state of Arizona, so that's something that's extremely prominent for the Democrats. They're also leading in Tennessee polling, so that's something that's also going to be focused on a lot. Having a Democratic senator from Tennessee is going to be something that the Democrats don't really expect, but would definitely focus their funds there if they do think the Democrat has a chance. Right now, that polling is going to suggest that. So Tennessee is probably going to be a focus for the Democratic Party rather than other states that they don't really need to focus on, like the Rust Belt, which is already safe or likely in their column, so they don't really need to focus on that. They probably thought about that in 2016, but these incumbents have way too much popularity to actually lose, especially in an anti-Republican year and a pro-Democratic year. So 47 Democrats, 48 Republicans. Florida right now, Rick Scott is currently leading, but we could see a Bill Nelson victory with this last-minute push that helps the Democrats. This is not going to help Republicans. Some of them are either too happy with the president, where they're not going to come out and vote. The mentality is, why should I vote? I'm not needed to vote. And then again, some of them are opposing the president and will come out to vote to oppose the president. Some Republicans, mainly Democrats and independents, all thinking alike, would vote for a Democrat just to prove a message to the president. And in the Senate election, it's going to be something that's going to be extremely important. 48 Democrats, 48 Republicans, pretty much a tie right now. Montana's probably leaning in the Democratic column. I really don't see any Matt Rosendale winning in Montana right now. It's just too good for Jon Tester. I mean, Matt Rosendale's not known. Jon Tester's known, and his approval rating's pretty good for a Democrat in Montana, and he's probably going to hold on to that one. But looking at this map, Democrats are now 2 away from the majority, as are Republicans. So looking at the state of Missouri, that one is probably going to be narrowly leaning in the Republican column. Along with North Dakota, I could see that one narrowly leaning in the Republican column. So that puts them at the majority. Indiana, I would see leaning in the Democratic column, and that gives them 8 total leaning in their column, giving the Democrats 50 seats to 50 Republicans. I don't know if this is a different map than what we saw, a couple days ago, but I'm probably going to leave North Dakota off as a pure toss-up state, along with Missouri. Those 2 states I see as pure toss-ups as of right now. The other states, they aren't really as close as you might think. Yes, Florida is close, but neither candidate is above 50%. Same thing in Tennessee, same thing in Arizona. But right now, with the last-minute push for the Democrats nearing up into the election with something that's going to impact future generations, not just 2 years from now or 4 years from now, but 20 to 30 years. This is something that's going to be constantly repeated by Democrats, and why they should vote, why voters should vote Democratic, to have a balanced court, to have someone that will check with the president, and it won't just be a Republican-held Supreme Court, Republican-held House, Republican-held Senate, Republican-held White House, something that's been there for 2 years so far, and it's going to be something that's going to be repeated multiple times by the Democratic Party. So we finish off the map with 50 Democrats, 2 pure toss-ups. I haven't really done toss-ups in a while, but North Dakota and Missouri are really pushing it for toss-ups, along with states like Tennessee and Arizona, which I could argue for that. But right now I'm going to leave those in the Democratic column just based off data, and 48 Republicans. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment out suggestions below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.